like that. Little fidget spinner ASMR.
Welcome to Team Chat Podcast, everybody.
A video
this is
game
our
show.
New fidget spinner ASMR.
Just get you calm, lower the heart rate. You've been fighting a big bad boss in Elden Ring. Come to the bonfire. Chill out, relax.
We're done playing video games. This is only about fidget spinners from now
We all
on.
realize this is a stressful world, and we need to take time to relax, to breathe, meditate, focus on our day.
I just like how it looks in the view.
It does look really cool in the video.
Really
it's
cool.
like
Yeah,
the shutter
kind
speed
of
must be like a little bit
mesmerized by
off, and it is a little bit just like, I hope that translates in the final. But in this preview, it looks really cool because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like you put that on the oddly satisfying subreddit, just a video of it spinning. But anyway.
Anyways.
Welcome to this episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
And we're here to talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. New episodes come out on Thursdays, and you can listen to those on podcast services around the World Wide Web, as well as watching a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. You can find us on social media, such as Facebook, Discord, Instagram. We're still on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck.
I haven't. I'm protesting. I haven't
like,
logged back in.
I need to drop it. I just need to drop it.
I really.
He sucks.
I
like
mean,
everything about him sucks.
Really, just all social media at this point, except for Instagram, which for me at least is still so highly curated to be friends only that that's all I see. But all of the other ones, I'm like, it might be time to pull the plug.
Might be time to play.
I haven't
updated my Facebook in forever. I know, like, we have been very dead on our social media. I apologize for that.
Why bother?
I will say, if you are listening to this and and everything, and you are a newer listener, I will really say the Discord is where the conversation pops off.
We're always in there chatting.
So we're always up in there talking about it, talk about fun stuff, gaming stuff, non-gaming related stuff. So you can check that out. The description below, that's where the link is, where you can find out where you can join that cool Discord. You can also join our Patreon at patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where, it's like some other cool people. You go there, you can, for $1 a month, you get cool stuff, like in the episodes early before the general Thursday release, access to a private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery. And you know what? I just cannot find this note fast enough. This really sucks. I should have done this earlier.
Zach S.
Here it is. I got
Andrew
you.
M.
No, wait, that's not the most accurate one. Shit.
Hurry, don't worry, I'll fidget spin for us.
There it is.
That'll distract them.
I've got to figure out a better place to put this so I can get to easier. Anyway, you can do that just like really cool people like Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L, Elise F, Zach S, Susan M, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. They have gone over there, and for a little as $1 a month, that whole spiel. We gave them all that cool stuff, and you can get that cool stuff too. But if you can't support us on Patreon, that's no big deal. We totally understand. There are a lot of free ways that you can support the show, such as telling your friends, writing us reviews, subscribing to, or liking wherever you're listening to or watching the show. All that great stuff helps. And for each and every one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike, we love you. Heart emojis.
Smooches.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great time.
here.
And you know what? Today, we're going to talk about some fun stuff.
We're just going to, we've been doing
I don't know what
we're
going to talk about.
Well, that's the thing, is we've, each of us have been doing a lot of, different gaming than what we've been talking about recently. Either continuations of games that we haven't finished, i.e. me, or in your case, a couple of new games
Picking up some new ones.
that I really want to hear your opinions on.
So we're just going to do a good old classic. I don't know if we ever actually we've called it this, but we're just going to do a good old fashioned shoot the shit episode. We're just here to talk about gaming stuff, and it's going to be all over the map.
It's going to be fun. Ping pong all over the place to wherever our thoughts of video games might take us.
Exactly. So I guess we can go ahead and start then with that. Yeah, you're continuing on with a game of the past. You've dropped Tears of the Kingdom.
Actually, that's kind of true. So I think I mentioned either maybe on our last stream and possibly the episode before that as well.
Our Sayonara Wild Hearts stream?
Yes, our Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Played the complete game.
Yeah, we did.
In one stream.
If you missed the stream, everybody,
YouTube.
we finished a whole game in one sitting, which for us is staggering.
Now, to be fair, we had the deck stacked in our favor in that the game is literally only an hour long.
It's very short.
But hey, it still could have been hard.
We could have gotten stuck.
And we didn't. We powered through, and it was great. Check it out. It was a very fun game.
Anyway, so between Sayonara Wild Hearts and all of the other games that I've just sort of been trying to chuck away at slowly but surely in my backlog, I have not given up Tears of the Kingdom, but I am in my my Tears of the Kingdom equivalent to the lengthy break that I took from Breath of the Wild. And it's completely my own fault. So really the exact same thing that happened last time in Breath of the Wild has happened again in Tears of the Kingdom because I don't know how to learn from my past mistakes. So in Breath of the Wild, I think I put in well over 100 hours before I really burnt myself out. And in those 100+ hours, I think pretty much all I had done was explore the map, unlock all of the areas, and finish all 4 of the divine beasts, which is the air quotes win condition. It's not technically required.
Sure.
But story-wise, no, it's actually not. You can just go straight to Ganon. You technically don't have to do the divine beasts. You've never finished Breath of the Wild.
No.
Oh, okay. So I'll just we'll tell everybody at home in case you missed it. When you do the 4 divine beasts, what they basically do is activate their beasts, and they take aim at Hyrule Castle, so that when Link goes in there to fight Ganon, they all 4 of them fire off their beams, and it takes Ganon's health from full to half.
So if you don't have them,
it gives you a leg up, but it's not required. You can just charge right in there and fight Ganon.
Interesting.
Naked with sticks if you wanted to.
Has anyone beat him doing that, though?
Yeah. People do it in the speedruns all the time. So yeah, you can just go straight to Ganon.
So question, if you only activate like 2 or 3 of them, does it still like do some damage to him, or
I think it does.
Or is it 4 or nothing?
I will say that I didn't try it. I got all 4 of them when I did eventually beat the game. But that being said, when I did eventually beat the game, because what I did was I unlocked all the map, I beat the 4 divine beasts, I looked at Hyrule Castle in the distance, and I said, I'll start that tomorrow. And then I never came back to the game for months.
Sure.
I mean, it was a month-long break.
Yeah.
And I am well and truly in the midst of the same break in Tears of the Kingdom.
Hours-wise, how are they comparing?
You know what? I would actually say I think I put more hours into Tears of the Kingdom before burning out than I did with Breath of the Wild, because I am easily at least over 150 hours in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, nice.
Possibly more than that. It might be like nearing or possibly over the 200 mark by now.
Wow.
And that's about where I was when I did beat Breath of the Wild for the first time. So the things that I've done in Tears of the Kingdom are I've unlocked all the sections of the map. I obviously have not finished every temple. I will never do that. I'm not that kind of completionist when it comes to games of this size.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of areas of the map that even though I see them, I haven't explored them. Like, there's a ton of stuff I haven't done in the game still. I got all 4 of the, I guess you would say, like, so what do they call them in game? I got all 4 sages.
Oh.
I helped all 4 of the sages defeat their respective temples and awaken their sage powers, which is sort of the new divine beast win condition for Tears of the Kingdom. And then I also went around and got all of the memories. So the tears in question are basically memories left behind by a certain character. I'm not going to say who because it's a mild spoiler.
Yeah.
And if you collect all of them, it basically just puts the pieces of the story together for you.
Again,
I think most of that stuff is actually pretty optional. I don't think you have to do that. And the reason I say that is because there's a particular plot point that I got to in a completely different way than Bro Mogan did. Oh. I'm not going to say which one it is because, again, I'm sure there's still many people that are playing through Tears of the Kingdom and they don't want to have that spoiled. Yep. But like when Bro Mogan and I were talking about it, obviously as his favorite personal phrases, he was like, "Are you gaslighting me right now?" And I was like, "No, I did it differently. Not everyone is gaslighting you."
So paranoid.
Yeah, so paranoid. So we just talked about the different ways that we did XYZ thing, and we were like, "Oh, okay. So actually, you didn't have to do blank to get blank."
Interesting.
So I'm sure there are probably other facets of the game that are similar to that as well. There's still loads of the underground, what do they call it, the depths, that I have not even remotely begun to explore yet. Pretty much all of the depths under the Northwest Hebra region, didn't do any of that. Big sections of the Southwest, probably not going to do those. Yeah. Like, I'm at the point where when I do eventually go back to the game, I will probably make a beeline for the end game because that's the point that I'm at.
Yeah.
I did just enough to get to the air quotes end game and went, I'll do that tomorrow. And then and tomorrow never came. So that's where I'm at with Tears of the Kingdom. It's a very fun game. I obviously very much enjoyed it to put the amount of hours I've put into it so far. I will eventually finish it, of that I have no doubt, but I suspect that that's going to be like a winter return for me. I'm probably going to go back to that in fall or winter of this year when I've knocked out some of the other, honestly, higher on my priority list games.
Yeah.
Which is...
Octopath Traveler 2.
Octopus Traveler 2,
Oh,
yes.
sorry, excuse me. I did not use its appropriate name.
It's either Octopus Traveler 2 or, my favorite phrase, 2 Octopath. So Octopath Traveler 2, yes, I finally went back to it after, again, a lengthy time away just from Tears of the Kingdom. But I made notable progress. I'm not just dicking around at this point.
Nice.
I'm actually going around, doing stuff, unlocking new things. I actually realized I thought I had made it farther on the map than I have in some cases.
Oh.
Because I'm just about to go do Oswald's final chapter.
Finishing up my boy Oswald.
I'm going to go finish up Oswald's chapter. My favorite guy to hate. Love him, hate him, love to hate him. He really hasn't. Do you remember whenever you're... whenever you're in active combat and you've got Oswald in your party, and you know how sometimes enemies will miss attacks on you if your character has high evasion or some sort of ability that lets them dodge a blow? Do you remember what Oswald's successful evasion voice line is?
No, I don't.
So a lot of the other characters, like Agnia and Hikari and Casti, like Casti's, hers is so funny and sassy. When somebody misses a hit on her, she goes, "Open your eyes." Like, she's a real bitch about it. It's like, yes, Casti,
dumbass missed.
He's fucking dumbass missed. I think Thrones is probably equally like, it's something equally sassy. Agnia is just like, "Missed me," or something like that. It's really cute. Oswald is just poor aim. He says it exactly like that. It's like, oh my
poor
God.
aim, cavemen make fire.
He's so stupid and funny. He's so dumb. I love him to pieces, but gosh, is he stupid. I have, however, heard from other people that his chapter 3 went some really interesting and dark directions that I thought gave his story a lot more needed gravity from the arguably from the stupidity of his chapters 1 and 2, where he's like, "Oh yes, my plan's all coming together," and then he lists
I need to start planning it now that it's come together and it's time to execute.
And then he lists all the things that he needs. It's like, bitch, you don't have anything lined up for this. Anyways, but I've heard that his final chapter goes in some pretty interesting directions, so I'm really excited to revisit Oswald's chapter. And then right before that, I actually finished my main character's Casti.
Oh, nice.
So I picked Casti. I picked the Apothecary class for my basically party leader, you'd say. And I was kind of playing around with the idea of basically saving her story for last.
Yeah.
But I decided not to do that because even though I really like Casti, she's not my favorite character. And her story also isn't my favorite of the stories. I will say that it's a marked improvement from Alphen's story, the other apothecary from One Path, as you might recall. His was very, I don't want to say like hollow, but it was very expected. It was like the classic expected, hit all the same genre notes that you might expect from, air quotes, the healer class.
Yeah.
His story and Ophelia's story, basically the white mage or the cleric, both of them are healers, technically. The apothecary a little bit less so, the cleric definitely so. But his story was very much just like, I just want to help the maximum amount of people possible in the world, and that's my goal, that's my dream. You know, if I achieve that, I'll have succeeded. And it's like, that's great and all, but your depth, shallow, that's the word I was looking for. His story had no real depth to it. And it did make, like, I liked him as a character, thought his story was pretty dumb. Casti at least got some needed character development and some different motivations to make her story much more interesting than Alphen's. I don't think I want to go too much into the details of hers, but we talked about how, you know, her starting story is her waking up on a basically a little skiff out at sea, just completely alone, and she's like dehydrated. Something was clearly wrong with her. She gets picked up by a traveling merchant ship, and they're like, "Whoa, who are you? What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, bitch, bitch, fuck if I know.
I'm just here.
She lost her memory, so she doesn't know who she is. All she knows is that in her apothecary's bag, which she still got with her, are all of her apothecary things. So it's like, oh, well, clearly this was my job. I've got a bag full of apothecary shit. It says Casti on my name tag on my uniform, which looks like, you know, a 1920s British nurse's uniform.
Right.
So she had clear clues about who she was, but then she also had a blood-soaked apothecary's journal in her bag. So there was this big mystery around, like, ooh, whose blood is that?
Yeah.
What happened? You know, is she a villain, actually? Is she like one of those angels of death?
Uh-oh.
That's kind of what's going on with her story, and unraveling the layers of that, I have to say, not quite as impactful as I was hoping it would be, but it was still more impactful than Alphen's story ever could have been. So I was like, you know what? No, I should just go ahead and finish up her story. And I'm so glad I did, because I can't recall if this actually was a mechanic in the first game, or if I just never did it because I was dicking around for so long. When you finish, or at least in Octopath Traveler 2, when you finish your party leader's story, they are no longer mandatory for the party.
Oh.
You have to keep your initial character in your party as the party leader for all of the game.
Oh, wow.
Unless and until you finish their tale. So if I had just done that, like if I had just done the bare minimum, beeline to Casti's story, finished her chapter 4 first, I could have been swapping out all of the other lower tier characters, which I realize now is so important, because I've talked about this before, at least in my party, because I did it wrong clearly. Casti was way over leveled compared to everybody else, which on the one hand is kind of a good thing, because you've got like this one OP character that can usually save your other characters if a fight is going really bad, as they often do. And if your character also happens to be one of the healers, that's even better for you. You know, to have a really high-powered apothecary or a cleric while you're going up against some of the end-game optional bosses, very helpful stuff.
Yeah.
But it also meant that Casti's in the upper 60s as far as leveling goes. Everybody else is in the lower 50s. And that grind to get into the 60s is nothing to sneeze at.
Oof.
So it's like, oh, okay, I probably should have finished her story way sooner,
right,
so that I could have been more optimally swapping in my other characters to get those levels a little bit more even.
Sure.
But you learn.
What are you going to do?
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. It's part of the adventure.
It's all part of the adventure, all part of the fun. And I actually just also unlocked one of the secret bonus jobs.
Ooh,
so
this,
I'm not going to. Well, you know what? I'll just
I guess
tell
it is
you.
a secret.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because it is a secret, but at least this particular job, I wouldn't call it hidden.
Ooh.
It's just in one of the cities.
Okay.
All you have to do is make it to one of the cities, walk into a house, which is not like, it's not entirely hidden, I'll say, but it's really easy to find. It's to get the Arms Master class. Did you never played Octopath Traveler?
No, I never got farther than the
So
demo.
there's the warrior classes, you know, from Ulbrich, who you did the demo of. You're familiar with the warrior. They're basically, you know, all offense, some defense. That's their whole function. They're kind of your tanky offense guy. The Arms Master is that to like the nth degree, because the Arms Master can wield every weapon.
Oh shit!
You can equip every type of weapon to the Arms Master, and then at least in Octopath, this was I believe this was a secret job in Octopath Traveler 1 as well. I actually think I got to the boss to get the Arms Master in 1 Octo 1 Path. Got my ass handed to me. Didn't realize that that's what that boss was for. So I went, you know what? I'll come back to that later. Didn't go back to it. Nope, never went back to it.
Turn tail and ran.
I was like, bye. I'll go do some other shit right now. I'm clearly underleveled for this. But the Arms Master class is really fun to play around with, because they have a lot of risk and reward around them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, SP, your skill points that basically you have to spend to be able to use your special abilities. The Arms Master requires a hefty SP cost for the vast majority of their abilities, but what some of their abilities might be stuff like, hey, do a really powerful sword attack, and then when that attack is done, your character automatically goes into a guard, which normally you can't do. Usually those are two separate actions.
Right.
You either have to attack one turn or guard on the next. You can't do them at the same time. So the fact that the Arms Master can do a big attack and then go into a guard but it costs you 35 SP. It's either 30 or 35 SP, which in a lot of cases, depending on how you've kitted out a character, that could be half your SP.
Yeah.
So you have to use those moves very sparingly, or really optimize the rest of your team around that character to find ways to give them more SP. You know, there are special accessories you can equip to them. There are special, what are they called? Like attributes, or what do they call them? Like the job abilities? I think they might just be called abilities.
Yeah.
When you basically increase a job class enough, you unlock all of their 4 sub-abilities that you can equip to a character to give them special things like gain SP at the end of every turn.
Yeah.
You know, or increase SP by 50 points. It's like, oh, that's all really helpful shit.
Right.
So if you've got the right sub-abilities to add onto your job classes, you can make that cost a lot lower per se, but what if that's not the way you want to do it, right? Like, what if you just want to go all in on the offense and just pray to God that you can one-hit kill everybody so that you don't have to worry about SP? Because, like, oh, well, if you're one-hit killing everybody, you can just use items after the battle is done to get back all of your SP points.
Right.
So it's a really fun, definitely... Yeah, just risk and reward class of how do you want to do this? There are a lot of different ways you can go around it, and trying to figure out which characters work the best with the Arms Master on top of their existing abilities is really fun to mess around
That's cool.
with.
And it's fun to have something like that new that, you know, is thrown in somewhat late into the game.
Oh, yeah, it's
because
late
of
game.
like, you know, how much you've already been able to do so far.
And then actually I still have and I don't know what it is because I haven't had it spoiled for me, thank God. There's actually a 3rd secret job class that I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have to do for it. I don't know where to go for it. I will hopefully find it eventually.
It's just out there. I just gotta explore.
And the only reason I even know that it's out there is because there is still very glaringly a blank spot in my jobs list. So it's like, okay, visually I know something's going to go there. I just don't know what it is.
Right.
So yeah, Octopath is still an extremely fun game. As soon as I circled back around to it, I was like, why did I ever leave you? This game is the best.
I mean, to be fair, those are both Tears of the Kingdom and Octopath Traveler 2 are huge games.
They are big,
I completely understand needing to take a break and jump to one or the other just to give yourself some breathing room in them.
But I've been really enjoying getting back into it, and I can't wait to finish Oswald's Chapter 4. I don't know what it's going to be like. Oh, something else that I was like, well, fuck me, I guess. So do you remember when I talked about how one of the ways that Octopath tries to address the question of getting the characters to build better relationships with each other?
Yeah.
And they added on these basically co-op side stories where it's like, hey, Temenos and Throne, the cleric and the thief, are going to go have a little co-op side quest together. They get all this special dialogue together. They get to fight together. Nice. It's really fun. Casty had one of those in the early game with Ochette, the Huntress. She's so cute. Love Ochette to death. Their character dynamic was really fun because Ochette is, I think, canonically the youngest character. And Casty is, I think, the oldest female character, definitely. She might be one of the older characters, period. Except for Oswald. I think Oswald is older than her.
Yeah.
But so they kind of had like a pseudo like big sister / motherly figure to the, you know, impulsive younger sister sort of to Ochette's younger sister dynamic, which was really fun. I didn't unlock part 2 of their co-op quest until after I beat Casty's main story.
Whoa.
So I think the win condition there was you have to beat both Ochette's and Casty's main quests to get the follow-up. And I was like, oh, fuck me, I guess.
So now you have to, like, if you see those pairings come up with other characters, you're like, okay, well, I guess I got to knock out these two to be able to do this next part.
I think I haven't finished. I did. I guess I can't have done that. Oswald and Particio have one, which is hilarious. Like the two characters that they're so at odds with each other, but somehow both equally stupid in their own ways. Oswald and Particio have one. Hikari and Agnia have a joint quest, which is really cute. Temenos and Throne, and then Castian Ochette. Those are sort of the co-op pairings.
Nice.
They're really cute. They're such a fun way to just get more of the game going on the side. You don't have to do them. But why wouldn't you?
Right.
Like, if you're already that deep in the game,
Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
already
wanna do
completing
those
these
side
stories.
quests.
You might as well.
There's fun stuff going on in there. So, yeah. My point is, don't hesitate to finish characters' quests, to max out their plot lines, because there is more stuff behind that wall.
Yeah.
You just might not realize it yet. So, to Octopath, big meaty game. I think I'm probably 90 hours in so far, and I still have 3 more characters' full stories to go. Wait, Particio, Oswald, Hikari, Temenos. I finished Agnias. I finished Ochet's. Oh, I did. I finished all of the girls.
Oh, nice.
I finished all the girls' quests and then none of the boys' quests. That was not intentional. That's just sort of how things shook out. Yeah.
You know?
Whatever. Anyway, so they're the Octopath is the best game ever made. And if you haven't played it already, you should.
Nice. Very good. Well, glad you're still having fun with it, especially, because I know like sometimes after you take a break from a game, and everything, you come back to it and there kind of is almost that like learning curve again. You're like, so what am I doing? How do I do this? What's going on? But it's nice to like, not have that with this.
I will also say that with the way Octopath is set up, I don't feel like you have that same barrier. I feel like it is the type of game where you can come back and pretty much pick back up right where you left off. Like maybe you forgot some of the story details, but as far as the gameplay goes, I think you can just as easily pick it up after a years long absence and be like, oh yeah, this is how I play this game. It's very straightforward while having a lot of secret opportunities for depth right underneath the surface.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, while you've been going back and exploring Octopath Traveler 2, like she said, I've been jumping around in 2 new games. I've mentioned one of them at least before. I know Borderlands 3. I got that one during one of the more recent PlayStation sales. It was like $8, and the game came out fairly recently, like 2018, 2019.
Really?
So I was like,
is it that new?
Yeah.
I guess I thought Borderlands 3 was way older.
No. Huh. So I was just like, all right, cool. I'll give this a shot, because it was actually right after or around when we did our comedic games episode, and I had talked about Borderlands there and everything, and I was just like, you know what? Why not? I actually even broke my old usual rule. I skipped Borderlands 2.
Good job, Jarrett.
Look at me.
Skip those middle ground games.
I even have it, and I was just like,
you know what? No.
I'm just going to skip. Just going to go to 3.
Just skip it. Just go straight to the end.
It has been, though, it's been a game, like, it was on the heels of finishing Ghost of Tsushima, then Jedi Survivor, and I was just like, okay, I love that kind of game. Oh, and then before that was, God of War. But still, it was just like, okay, so I've done these really big, huge games, and, like, Borderlands isn't a small game for any means. It is an RPG and everything, and takes place several hours, a very long game, or can be a long game, because it also has all the like side quests and all that stuff, exploration and whatnot. But still, I was like, you know what? I'll give this one a shot. I want something different that feels different, that is still like a bigger open world game like this, but it's more of a shooter, not like a sword style game and everything like that. And man, it's been hitting the right buttons for me. It's been really fun getting back into this game. I played Borderlands 1 years and years ago, and but still doing this one, it's the writing, like I talked about in the comedic games episode, is just so good. The one knock I will kind of say about like just like the environment, voice acting in general, is that a lot of the lines and a lot of the characters kind of have like a yell talk feel to them.
Oh, I hate that.
Or like the psychos, like the psychos that you do, the one like enemy class, they are pretty much just all just like yelling, just like just like loud, and just like that's kind of how they like yell all their lines, like kind of screaming at you. So after a while that gets a little grating, but it's still just like all the like weird random things. Like I feel like I was telling you about this with one of the side quests. You go, Claptrap is looking, your little robot companion, he got his antenna broke off and he's looking for a new antenna. But he knows that, like, well, I can either get just normal antenna, or there could be other cool things around the world that I might want to potentially use. So why don't you go find a few things for me, bring them to me, and I'll pick what my new antenna is going to be. So you go around and you have to find like 7 different things to appease his fashion tastes.
Yeah, I understand.
He wants to be able to accessorize.
He's a little fashionista.
Exactly.
Good for him.
And so you go out and you find all these things. One of them is you go to this hut that Psycho is living in, and he walks out, and strangely enough, he's not.
He's chill.
Yeah, because the Psychos, their whole thing is like they've been hunting for the vaults on Pandora / living and fighting in it for so long. They really have just kind of like
lost it
a little bit, and so not the closest to reality. you could say. And so you go to this guy, but he's calm, he's chill, he's collected. And Claptrap, sees that he's wearing what looks like a funnel on his head, like a metal funnel. And Claptrap's like, I want that. I want that as my hat. And so he asked the dude, well, can I have your thing? And he's like, no, you can't, because it blocks out the signals from these
classic signs.
Yeah,
with the tinfoil hats.
He's like, they block out the signals from these satellites around. So if you can get rid of those satellites for me and the messages will stop, I'll be able to give you my hat. I'm like, you know what, buddy? No problem. Got this. I can handle this right for you. Go around, shoot the couple antennas that are around, go back to him, and he takes and he's just like, but then when you go back to him, he's different. He's like, it stopped, and he's like back to like crazy and yelling.
No, so the hat was helping
you.
him. Oh no!
And he attacks you, and you gotta kill him. And I'm just like, this is an interesting turn of events.
Did that not unlock an extra side quest where you get to go produce thousands of hats and just put them onto psychos to save them? Maybe that's how you can save all of them, Jared.
Maybe so.
Oh, tragic.
But yeah, so it was I was like, oh man, this kind of like weird twisted humor like that is very fun. It's like, it is one of the things, like, because it is so like a lot in that regard. Like, it's not a game that I like can sit down or not yet. Maybe I just haven't had the opportunity to yet, just to sit down and put a lot of hours in all at once.
I'll do like a couple gaming session.
Yeah, I'll do like a couple of the main missions, dabble in a side quest here and there. I'm also still trying to keep my progress with it going fairly well, get through it at a good pace. And so I'm trying to do like main mission, then maybe like 1-2 side quest back to main mission kind of thing, just to get some variety. I was talking about it in the Discord, though. Oh, another example of the writing that we actually did show or tried to show in the last episode, Pocket Rats, when my character Flack, the Beastmaster, who's like a robot Beastmaster, he threw these like flying creatures and goes, Pocket Rats, and it was hilarious. So I loved it.
With such gravitas.
I know. He's got a really deep, like booming voice like that, and it's really fun. And whenever one of his buddies, Beast buddies that you can have, like comes back, like say they got killed and they have to respawn and stuff like that, he's always goes like, I missed you, friend, and stuff like that.
Cute.
It's very fun.
Remind me, in Borderlands, do you have a set player character, or is it a build your own kind of thing?
It's you choose from 4, and they are, you can in this one. I don't remember as much in the original one. I honestly don't remember if you could change their appearance much. But in this one, you can like find new cosmetic things to like trick out your thing, change paint colors, different stuff like that on your clothes and things. So there's a little bit of it, but no, you're pretty much like set to these like you're pretty much set to these like stats based on the main template character that you choose. Gotcha. And so I've been playing as that because there is like the mage elemental character they're called sirens in this one in Borderlands. There is the standard like rogue, more assassins type class, and then like the normal like soldier kind of thing. And I don't know. I normally don't go for like the Beastmaster class. Not that that's necessarily a huge class in general, I feel like, for most RPGs.
But your time with Monster Hunters rubbing off on you.
That's true, because you have the dogs.
You finally feel more comfortable, more confident in your beast mastering ways.
So I decided to do that, and it's been really fun. Where else was I going with that? Oh, there was like another one in one of the main, another example of the fun writing with it. There was in one of the main missions, so I won't be super spoiler with it, you're trying to destroy this like big laser that is attacking an ally base, and the two like enemy rival commanders are talking to each other over radios, and you're hearing all of this. And one of them, is the one who's operating the laser, keeps like destroying little parts of this other guy's headquarters. But it's very funny because it's like his donut shop, his like all these really things, and each
his
one
Keurig.
He's like, no, where will I get my muffins?
My God,
it's
ruining
kind of
his
stuff.
Quality of life.
As like
that's so
he's
sinister.
Like destroying all these things and these businesses in this base, and never once is the guy like freaking out about the people he's maybe losing who are living there, but it's like the businesses and infrastructure of his donut and coffee shop and stuff like that.
That's hilarious.
It's very funny stuff like that. Claptrap, as always, still continues to have really great lines of all of his different stuff, so it's just very, very fun in that regard.
I mean, tonally speaking, I can't think of many games that are as far removed in atmosphere from Ghost of Tsushima, Jedi Survivor.
Yes, it's a complete tonal shift.
It's a total 180.
Which I think is what I kind of needed, because
Yeah.
I feel like those games, like, they're very serious games. They had a lot of like weight to them, and so
not a
like
lot of comedic cut-ups in
Yeah,
those.
yeah, not
Maybe
really.
a little bit
A little
more
bit
so
here
in
and
Star
there.
Wars,
Yeah.
because Star Wars, that's kind of
Oh yeah, you had Turtle
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Jedi Survivor, and so there's a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, so this one to be like a complete tonal shift, it is very fun, and plus the combat of it is very. I mean, it's gory. Like most of the enemies, when you kill them, they usually wind up just exploding into bits.
Well, when you showed me that clip of the pocket rats that other people couldn't see, I was actually very surprised
share
by
that to the Discord.
you should put that in the Discord. I was really surprised by how good looking the game was.
Oh, it's great.
I mean,
the art style of Borderlands is fantastic.
and even though I thought it was an older game, I still remember thinking like, wow, this looks like it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's a really good looking game.
It's really good looking. It's like for those not familiar, it's like a very like graphic novel, very like thick, defined black lines, and like it's
Bold art
lines and
direction.
art direction on it. It's very, very fun though.
Did you say you're playing it on PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So going to that, it's actually too. Can be a co-op loot shooter, so you can play the whole thing single player, or your friends can jump on. You can even do couch co-op or online stuff. So that's
Have
pretty
you
cool.
convinced Sam to join you?
Not yet. I do not
really.
think this one would be up her
Not her
alley
jam.
at all. And so it's been really fun doing that. The combat of the game is very fun too. One of the big things about Borderlands is obviously it's like the whole planet, everything is just war torn. You're just fighting everyone pretty much that you come in contact with. And so there are a lot of just like crazy, ridiculous weapons with a lot of different effects, like element effects, like there's one that do radiation damage. There's fire, corrosive, freeze, all these different things that you can do to the enemies. But the thing about it is most of the guns, or I believe all of the guns in the Borderlands series are totally based on RNG. Like their stats, abilities, what they look like, and all that stuff. So when you open or go to like a shop or a chest, you open a chest, it like spawns new, unique stuff. So I really don't think like you can find the same gun twice.
Remind me, is Borderlands a like? It's not a battle pass style game, is it?
No.
It's like a set.
It's a single player like RPG, like first person shooter RPG.
Does it have in-game microtransactions?
There are DLC, but I don't necessarily think like that. No,
it's
that
not
there's
the
not
kind
like
of thing where it has like an in-game shop that you pay.
No.
Oh, okay, awesome,
No.
excellent.
You can spend
10
your
out of 10.
in-game currency in
Remember back when games were finished,
right? You
and
go
you
to
could buy it and just play it.
the shops are like vending machines, which I think is very fun.
That's
And so
cute.
you just roll up to those.
They ripped off BioShock. That's
that's
absolute
true.
shit.
It's a circus of values.
It's a circus of value.
But no, that's very fun. But because of it, the weapons are all like this randomly generated stuff. Like you kind of never know what you're going to get until you actually fire it for the first time. So it is like I had this one that looked like it was supposed to be a SMG. And everything, and I was like, all right, cool, and fire, and it actually was like a huge beam that just shoots out, and you have to like hold it down, just like one steady beam that like coated enemies with corrosive or fire. One of my main weapons right now, assault rifles that I'm using, or maybe it's a full on like machine gun, I guess, is like does like fire elemental damage. It's a legendary, so like the highest rank that it, like quality rank that it can be, and it's really cool because it looks like an old timey gun and it has like a gear crank turn on the side, and you just like sit there and do it. But this gun, I swear to God, like. And it was funny. I was talking to the Discord with Super Saiyan Ace because he's played they played the Borderlands games, and we were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, I have played this, and I feel like I messed around a little too much because now I feel really OP, and I'm kind of in that same place. I did a little bit too much. I got to open every crate, get all this stuff, and bought stuff. So like I wound up with this.
Well off.
I'm only like level 16, I think, of my character, but I got this gun, and ever since I got this one gun, I have just been laying waste, and it is like just like not even getting like being affected by the enemies really at all. And so I was kind of like,
funny.
ooh, I might need to just like hardline the story for a little bit to like level up and beef up the enemies a smidge, because it's like two-shotting people, anything, like even like bigger armored enemies come, and I just go like just all, but since it's a fire like elemental one, people are just exploding. So it's
Oh
just
my
like,
God, that's really funny.
Like fireworks just going off. And it's just like, oh my God, why am I taking so much having so much fun playing this. What does this say? But no,
it might be the kind of case like in Octopath, I did get to a certain point in the story where I was like, oh no, I'm really OP.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of have to choose to nerf yourself.
Exactly.
Like put on your shittier armor, put your worse weapons back on. It's not as fun.
No, it's not.
But it does make the fights a little bit more interesting.
It really does. And and then like too, I found a pistol not long. I actually now have all of the 3 weapons. I still haven't unlocked the 4th weapon slot yet, but all 3 of the weapons I do have of different style of weapon are legendaries. So I'm like already like really stacked.
Yeah.
And I have like a sniper rifle. This one pistol that I have, you shoot them, and once the bullet makes impact, it like spawns a like electric ball that flies up in the air and then lands down at their feet and causes another explosion. So it's like I'm just like pew pew pew, just like everything is doing the work for me.
That sounds really
I found
fun.
a sniper rifle, same thing. You shoot, and then it creates like these. In it, if you hit the like actual guy you're aiming at, it does massive amounts of damage. But then even if you hit them or miss, it will then like spawn 5-6 little like electric balls that just like laser people in a certain area of effect. So it's just like so quickly it just turns to this mass chaos. But it really is just feels like me just standing there just like going nuts and just like not taking damage. It's crazy.
That sounds so Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah,
it really does. Like that type of weapon where just like you do one thing and then some other random bullshit happens.
Yeah,
that's
it's very much what happens. And so that's what I mean. You don't even know what this is going to be until you really like start fighting with it for the first time.
That's fun.
So I kind of like even like I don't like get a new weapon and be like test fire and just like shoot it into nothingness. Like I'm just like I'm gonna see what happens.
You just go into battle and just see what happens. That's
and
fun.
It's fun and it pays off. So
nice.
I'm having a blast with Borderlands. It's very fun. Again, I think that tonal shift is good. Give me something a little bit lighter, something a little less lower stakes on like the emotional investment.
Sometimes it's time to just explode people with your lasers.
Yeah. It's a lot. So it's been a lot of fun. The other game that I've been playing is one that I was very excited and been waiting a long time to be able to start. I finally got Advanced Wars Reboot for Switch. So it's Advanced Wars 1 and 2.
All I know about that game is that it has a dog. Oh, wait, I might be thinking of the other game. Never mind.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't think it does have a dog.
Just kidding.
Maybe in 2, but I don't know if I've got it.
I think I'm thinking of a different strategy game.
But so,
anyways,
this one is very fun. It's fun because it is like a turn-based game, and whereas you and your opponent will take place, but it's really like playing on a board game.
It's a TRPG.
A TRPG.
Yeah.
Tactical RPG.
Yes, tactical RPG.
And so, basically, the whole purpose of this is you are the Orange Star Nation, and you're being attacked and invaded. Now, granted, if you'll remember, this game was supposed to come out last year around March, but then a certain terrible world event happened
in Ukraine happened.
And so they decided to delay it. And I was initially like, okay, I understand that totally, and I still don't understand it. Especially even actually starting the game, I'm like, this was a very good decision because
like when we played Vampire after the pandemic had already started,
we
were like, "Oh no!"
And this is like talking about Spanish flu is sitting, and we're like, "This is too real. I don't like it."
Good thing this came out a year before the pandemic started, because otherwise,
not a good time. Not a good time.
Oh boy!
But so anyway, you're this nation, and you're being attacked by this other. Blue is the first nation that attacks you, and then a green one starts after. And I'm completely blanking on those names. I apologize.
Bold choice to make the main character's nation orange.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a rare selection.
It kind of is.
Usually
not the normal
blue.
color.
Yeah,
it's just hard to rhyme with anything else. So why would you do that? And so you start off. Do your missions, but like I said, it's each mission is like you have a board, and there are like cities. There's different terrain, like mountains, forests, rivers, different things like this that you can be on. Each one provides different defense capabilities and everything like that. But it really is just like you move your troops into position. You can have like, you'll start with like normal infantry, then you'll get like some rocket troopers, then you get like tanks. Eventually I'm getting like some helicopters and different things like that.
And I'm guessing there are things like height advantage, like there's probably high ground and low ground.
Yeah, because mountains have a better defensive rating than like just flat ground. They're like 3-star. I want to say forests are 2-star. Cities might also be 3-star defense rating and things like that. But so it starts off, you have your allotment of troops. Later in the game, you can unlock bases where you can like build new troops each turn if you want to. And then you just have to do your best. Use your best strategies to outwit your opponent. You can capture cities, which will give you places to heal up your units. Like because you each start with pre-claimed city spots that you can like kind of start with, because you can go back there, you can heal damaged troops if you move them into these areas and stuff like that. And then, so if you can start capturing the cities in the middle, then it obviously gives you a little bit more of a strategic advantage because you don't have to go so far back to be able to heal your stuff and stay in the fight more often. So you start off and you have your like kind of taught the ropes by Nell, who's the overall leader, commanding officer of Orange Star Nation. Is
Nell a hottie?
Yeah.
I will find out.
And then she teaches another CEO, Andy, who's like a little kid, which is, and everything, which is kind of like interesting.
War is a terrible crime. It does things to people.
And
my God, Nell is so waifu for laifu.
Yep.
She's so pretty. This is not what I was expecting when you said name Nell.
And so each commanding officer has like their own certain ability that will power up over time, and you can use it on a turn. So Nell's, I believe, just like increases the overall
does Nell not just walk out there and everybody sees her and they go, never mind, we're done fighting. We want to date that lady.
No, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe later on. And so I think hers just like increases the overall like luck or damage output of your unit's attack. Andy, the first other CEO that you get to use, he is like the repair guy. So like he'll repair any damaged unit by 2.
What is the term you're saying? CO?
Commanding officer.
Oh, commanding. Gotcha.
And then and so he'll repair any damaged unit by 2. Each unit has 10 health. And so he'll repair any damage by 2, and then increases their damage output by like 20% or something like that. So you can really have like a huge like push after especially if you got like really walloped in one fight in one turn.
Andy looks like a goober.
Yeah, he's kind of a goober.
Not dateable.
No.
Also a child.
Also a child, so definitely not dateable.
Not dateable for multiple reasons.
Then there's Max is the next one, who I actually just met. He's like the big assault commanding officer, so I haven't got to use his abilities yet because I'm still fairly early in this game. But he's bigger, he's bulky, he's cut.
He's a thick daddy. Okay. Yeah. Not bad.
And so I don't remember who the third one is that I haven't quite got to yet. But anyway, so you have all these abilities. I know, Bubba's, it's almost your dinner time. Just wait, we're almost done with this episode.
They say, Papa, please.
We're starving. That's why they both came in here. If you were noticing this on the video version earlier, both dogs came in and started nosing at me. It's 6 o'clock, Dad. It's dinner time.
Father, please.
And so... Anyway, you use all these abilities, you take all the turns. Obviously, different units have higher strength and attack, but it is really based on, like, if you can get the attack off first, that's going to give you a good bonus. Gotcha. But obviously, you can't, like, walk up with an infantry unit to, like, a medium tank and hope to win. Like, the infantry is going to get smacked and slapped out of the way by this tank. And you have to, certain units have different counters to other units. Artillery and missiles like have a blank space, like 2 spaces out from them, where like if a unit gets in there, they can't attack them. So you kind of have to like play your defense well and stuff like that. But like I was saying, I definitely understand, other than just the overall theme of this game is war and focusing on nations.
Right in the name.
Right. And focusing on other nations attacking other nations. It's treated the whole concept of like, hey, we're fighting is treated very lightly.
Oh, okay. So they're not really... It's not like Gundam, where war is clearly the theme and war is the thing that is bad.
It's treated very lightly. It's treated very... Which, I mean, I guess not every single game has to have this, but I definitely understand the tonal implications, too, of if this game came out at the exact same time and they still kept with the release, it would have been like, what are you doing? Because they're just like, whoa, that was rough. We barely made it out of there, Nell. You bet, Andy, but you did a great job, and we'll fight another day. It's like that kind of stuff.
And meanwhile, they left hundreds of thousands dead on the battlefield.
I had one remaining unit left, and I'm like, success! But they're like, that was a great fight, everybody.
Question, can you lose your commanding officers?
Don't know yet.
Ooh, okay.
Because I haven't lost.
No, you're too good at the game.
Actually, the game is hard.
The only reason I ask is because I don't play tactical RPGs. Yeah. They're not my jam. I'm too smooth-brained for that shit. I also don't have the patience for it. That's not the way my brain thinks.
I did one mission the other night, and it was like 30-40 minutes.
Absolutely not. Hard pass. But the only other tactical RPG I tangentially know of from other people well enough is Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, Fire Emblem, it is combination tactical RPG and waifu simulator.
Yes.
So you are both acquiring new team members, more COs for lack of a better term, who can, in many cases in the games, get permadied. But
I don't
that's
think
such
this
a bad
one
way
is-
to say it. They can have permadeath.
Permadeath.
They can get permadied.
No, I don't know if this one does. I haven't honestly got to that. If that is like, I feel like if that happens, it will be more a story point rather than a
Rather than you lost a
you
battle
lost
and
and
that
now
character.
you've lost the
Okay,
character
okay, I see.
because like you defeat the opposing army COs all the time and then you just fight them again in the next battle.
I see.
And then so it's very cool there. The first guy that I came up against, Olaf, he like his special is he like freezes everything.
Do you think
like-
he's Oswald's brother?
I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
He's big and like has a big bushy beard and stuff like that.
Oh, well, Oswald's got that big long hair.
That's true.
He also has a beard.
Yeah.
They probably are brothers.
Maybe so. Headcanon they are. And so, there's a freeze. Another guy that I just fought in the first green CO commander that I fought, he like has a big aerial. His special ability is that all of his units can attack again.
Oh.
Which is, that level was hard.
Gotcha.
That one I did have to I did the first few moves in. I take it back. I have lost once by tactical retreat. And so because
Tactical retreat, he calls it. That is such a good way to say you lost. Like, I didn't lose. It was a tactical retreat.
Because I did like 2 moves and realized the error that if I don't
realized you
get this
already
one
fucked it
thing to
up?
work,
Oh,
it's going
man.
to make this level last so much longer.
Yeah.
So I restarted it and tried to try again.
Smart.
So fighting against him with Andy. So it's kind of like he wallops you one turn because he can do everything twice. And then you turn around with Andy, use his ability if you have it charged up and heal everything by 2 and get a boost to your attack. You can kind of push
can
back,
swing it back.
and kind of do damage. The nice thing though, even though they can attack twice, they still get damaged and they'll still so it's even if they attack twice, you might be able to do damage and the next turn you can wipe them out pretty easily kind of. So it's fun how there's these balances, checks and balances to everything that keeps it kind of keeps you on your toes with everything.
Nice.
But this was a game, and why I was excited to play it is this is a game I played the original on Game Boy Advance at my buddy Spencer's house growing up. And I even then probably spent more time watching him play it since it was his game. And, I was just like, hey, what are you playing? Let me see. And everything. But I played, the first few levels myself and probably really didn't understand what I was doing at that time either. But just, I don't know, the fun battle cutscenes where the two because every time you do an attack, it's not you move this into here and it goes they just bump into each other a couple times and with battle sounds it goes a quick little cutscene where the two armies roll up, then your side fires, does damage, then their side fires, does damage, and then it goes back to the game board and stuff
Nice.
like that. It's also very fun when the COs activate their ability. It does a quick very anime cutscene unleashing their abilities
Their
and stuff
special
like that.
attack
Their special
animation?
attack.
Yeah,
The guy
cool.
from Green who I just attacked, he leaps up from the back corner of the screen and then lands in a superhero land pose, and then he
cool.
looks up and it's close up on his eye and
Oh
gleams
my
and stuff.
God.
It's really cool shit like
Whoa.
that.
That's
So-
some Farrah shit from Overwatch.
yeah, it's really cool, and so it's very fun like that and everything. But so
Nice.
it's just been. It was one that I had those fun memories of playing it as a kid, but had no history with it for a very long time. So when the reboot was announced, the remake, I was like, holy shit, this is my time.
Yeah.
And I've been having a blast with it. So it's
Nice.
been a lot of fun.
I know that you were really looking forward to that game, and it got delayed and delayed
and delayed
and delayed.
Obviously, again, 100%
Totally
agree.
understandable.
And
It
totally
was just
understandable.
world circumstances.
And in one of those things. But so when it did finally come out, I was still very anxious to play it.
That's what I was getting around to, is that it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
That it's still fun, that it's living up to your expectations. Because especially, I feel like with games like that, vague games from our childhood,
Yeah.
those softened edges are rife with landmines
Oh,
of disappointment.
For sure.
So it's nice to hear that it's really doing the most with what it's got.
Yeah, and it's been a fun time. It's also fun because I was needing another Switch game. I could not. I don't know if I've said this before. I could not just keep going back to Civ every time. I'm I need strategy. It's no, let's play something new. God damn it! So having that on the Switch has been fun. It was also I kind of I just got started because I got it for my birthday a couple weeks ago. But that kind of worked out because it came out a week or maybe the week before, a week after Survivor did, and I was well, obviously I know where my priorities
Yes.
lie. So it has been really fun. getting to explore this game again.
Nice.
And so really jumping back into both series, Borderlands and Advanced Wars, has just been a lot of fun because they were series that I have not touched in a very, very long time.
That's the time, like that's where we're at in our summer right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's the time to go back to those other games that we hadn't finished yet.
Yep.
I'm hitting back up Octopath. I'm going back to Theater Rhythm. You're going way back to Advanced Wars and Borderlands 3. It's been a good time to revisit the games of yore, you might say.
It really has. It really has. But yeah, that's what we've been playing lately. That's what we've been up to.
Plus Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Which only took an hour and a half.
My completed games for this year is doing good.
Obviously we will talk about this more at the end of the year when we do our 2023 recap. Honestly, it has been a really good year.
It has been.
Like personally, this year has already blown the previous year out of the water in terms of like the games that we've been getting, the quality of those games, and the amount of time that I've been willing to put into them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And last year was a good year too. Yeah, there's still a lot more coming.
Like I know, like we've talked about a little bit.
2?
Alan Wake 2, Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, am getting more and more interested in that, especially because they were announced like some of the first DLC pack of characters. You got Homelander from The Boys.
Jensen Ackles?
No, not his character. Although if they put Soldier Boy in it, which is Jensen Ackles' character, that would have been that would be awesome. He would have some interesting and great fatalities. They have Peacemaker, John Cena from Suicide Squad.
Everybody knows Peacemaker.
And then Omni-Man from Invincible. Invincible is a comic series, and it has a show now on Amazon Prime.
But I've never watched it.
It's very fun. Well, what makes it's a very good show. Second season's coming out later on this year, I think. But what is cool is Omni-Man in the show, and it was confirmed in Mortal Kombat 1, will be voiced by none other than J.K. Simmons. Can you imagine J.K. Simmons' voice lines in Mortal Kombat 1 while he's ripping into fools? See?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I recognize his face. I did. Oh wait, he voices him in the show, doesn't he? Okay, I've seen the clips.
So that's why
I've
it's
seen
so
the
cool.
Think clips.
Oh yeah, I forgot when that was a big meme.
Think.
Yeah, great show, great performance by J.K. Simmons.
Great J.K.
So just having
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons in it is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of big stuff, and I know there's something else that I'm
cool.
Assassin's Creed Mirage. I know that one's exciting for me anyway, and a lot of stuff coming out still.
There might still they haven't technically said, but maybe Tekken 7 this year. Tekken 8, excuse me. Maybe Tekken 8
which
this
I'm
year.
also excited for because I've been really I've been telling you, I really want to get into a fighting game again
Fingers
and get
crossed.
one and get good.
Yeah. So what we're saying is there's still a lot more to look forward to. Plus every now, Sea of Stars. That's the one other thing I wanted to mention.
We talked about that on the Discord.
This is really just news, not necessarily like a review or anything like that. I just wanted to mention that I recently saw that Sea of Stars, adorable, beautiful, old school style pixelated, but in like the really updated way, pixelated JRPG coming to the Switch and to the PlayStation August 29th.
Nice.
It got a release date. It looks beautiful. I believe both on the Switch and on the PlayStation 4 that it has a Fender's boofing at us.
Yeah, he is. We need to bring this to a close.
I believe there are playable demos for both of them. He's hungry. The point is, Sea of Stars is coming out very soon, and that might be a day one purchase for me.
Very cool,
very excited for that.
All right, Fender.
We're very
Our producer
sorry,
is telling us we need to cut it short.
He's like, y'all, come on.
Y'all have been talking enough. I'm very hungry. All right, we're shutting her down, Bubba. Well, we have been told by our producer, Fender.
We got to stop.
We got to stop talking about. We got to quit shooting the shit with you all.
He's woofing at us.
So we're going to do that. Go give him his supper. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us today. It was really fun getting to talk about what we've been playing recently. And stay tuned for another episode. Until then, everybody, we'll see you next time.
Adios.